Soft stakes.
It's okay.
Loud. Oh, you got more traffic? I think it's a loud thing.
Oh, I hear that. That's so nice.
Hang on, you wanna wait?
Yeah, we're just standing by.
Standing by 1 second.
It's loud.
Is there one there?
An airplane.
Yeah.
It's an airplane,
Okay,
yeah.
1 second.
There's two of them.
Very
It's a
close.
snowplow. That's the culprit.
All right, these guys are having a heyday. Yep, they're getting paid well today. They've been waiting for this. Just don't come down here. There's no need to come down. Passing by, so we'll just wait a few moments to let the
What's the little kid do?
sound linger off.
She does. I love it so much.
Great work though, first time. Let's do that again.
Perfecto.
We're good?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, we're good, everybody. Action. Okay, roll camera.
Yep. 12 Bravo, take 2, marker.
Action. And action.
Happy Friday, everybody! Friday, May the 7th, 2021, 12:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name's Dave McCrae, coming to you live from the VoiceMann Studios in Toronto, Canada. This is episode 169 of McCrae Live. And I want to talk some It's Me, Billy, today. Something I haven't done on the show in, a little bit. Because I've been very busy handling all that, but also I want to do it because today, as of today, we are 3 weeks away, 21 days away from the release, albeit unofficial, the next chapter in Black Christmas, the original Black Christmas. That's right, folks. 3 weeks away today from the worldwide release of It's Me, Billy, starring Victoria Miro, Shelby Handley, Malika Henny, Carol Coltman, myself, I'm in there too, but you already know that. Written and directed by myself and Bruce Dale, produced by myself and Bruce Dale. Our amazing team, of course, as well. We couldn't have done it without them. 3 weeks away today, it's hard to believe. I want to talk about top 5 questions that I get asked a lot in regards to the film. Now, these are not, I could have done a top 30 really at the end of the day, but I chose just 5. I had to be decisive. Chose 5 that I could talk about here on the show today. And, we're not far out. I want to start promoting the film. You're going to see me talking about it on the channel, fair bit over the next few weeks because it's go time. It's go time. Are you excited for it? Black Christmas fans out there? This is, of course, a film that not a lot of people... There's still a lot of people out there that haven't watched it. It's an acquired taste. It is an acquired taste, but it is a cult classic, no doubt, and a legend in the horror genre. Never had a sequel. Had 2 follow-ups. Had 2 remakes, one in 2006 and one in 2019. But we want to forget about that one. How you doing, everybody? Great to see everybody here. Thanks for tuning in live if you're able to. Thank you for tuning in after the fact if you are able to tune in after the fact and watch me after the fact. It is hard to believe that we are 3 weeks away. 3 weeks away from the release of It's Me, Billy. This is a film, of course, that we've worked extraordinarily hard on. And, we are. 3 weeks away. I've been posting some more photos, some more screen images, promotional images from the film the last week or so. You are going to see more of that as we lead up to the release. I have reached out to Victoria, Shelby, and Malika to try and get them on the show here. We're going to try and work something out. I want to get them on. That's our goal, but not just on for 5 minutes or 10 minutes like we did with the Billy-a-thon. I want to get them on for an entire show and try to do that. Anyway, they are very busy. They are working actors, so they have since gone on and done other things. So we're going to try and work around their schedules as best as possible. They are all gung-ho for it, of course. They are amazing. And I'm going to say probably the week of the release of the movie. So the movie releases on Friday, May 28th. I'm thinking maybe that Tuesday, maybe, or something like that prior to. It'll probably be an evening show. As you guys know, I don't usually do evening shows. I usually do it at noon. But I probably will do an evening show with them just because I think that'll work best for them. So it'll be probably like, a 7 or 8 o'clock show in the evening or something like that, Eastern Standard Time. But I have reached out to them as well. Bruce, of course, is going to be on the show as well, talking about it, answering your questions. We're excited. We are excited for this, and we want to make a push now. Now we're in the home stretch, and we want to make a push towards it, so we want to get the word out there. So anytime you guys can talk about it and share it and talk about it with your friends, that's what we want you to do. This is it. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to like the movie. That doesn't mean you're going to enjoy the movie. There's no guarantee on that. I don't say that because I'm not confident in it. I'm very confident in it. We executed what we set out to do. But like any film, you may or may not agree with the creative choices we've made, right? It's all up for debate at the end of the day. But certainly this is the home stretch. This is the moment, it's go time, as they would say on the, I think that was didn't Jean-Claude Van Damme do I think he was doing like a GoDaddy commercial where he's like, it's go time. You know, I'm pretty sure this is like 5 or 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago. It's a while ago. But it's go time. I mean, it is. So 3 weeks away today. That's crazy. You know, I think back to that. I should have actually set it up to play it, and I didn't think to do that. There's a video on my channel from, I believe it was the 3rd or 4th of July, somewhere around there, of 2019, where I was making the announcement. There's an announcement video on my channel. If you go to my channel and you YouTube Dave McCrae, It's Me Billy announcement, or actually, I don't think It's Me Billy is in the title. Put like Dave McCrae Black Christmas announcement or something like that. And it'll come up. And there I was, summer of 2019, early summer, making the announcement that Bruce and I had entered into development on a Black Christmas fan film. And here we are 2 years later. And, you know, I mean, it's crazy. It's been a long journey. It's been an exciting journey. I will be reiterating all this, of course, when the actual movie is released, because naturally, well, I'll be doing shows all that week. I'll be doing a show, well, unless something was to happen, I would love to do a show the day before, on the 27th, obviously, to get people prepared. There will not be a show on the 28th, I will tell you that. There will not be a show on Friday the 28th. Kind of like how there wasn't a show on the days that we released the trailers. And the reason why I want to do that is because I want that to breathe on my channel. I don't want any other content on my channel but that at that moment. And I usually let that breathe for, 5 days, maybe even a week or something like that. So there's no other competing videos on the channel in terms of new content at that moment. So that will be the same for the film. So there will not be a MCRAE Live or any shows on the 28th, unless something was to change, somehow, but that is the same there. So the film will drop. Don't know what time it will drop yet. We haven't discussed that, but it will drop on Friday, May 28th, and then we'll let the film breathe. We'll let the film breathe and live on the channel. So yeah, so I want to talk about top 5 questions that I get asked. And like I said, there's many more than 5, but these are sort of and they weren't asked specifically in this way, the way I've written it down in the sentence, which I'll go over to the other screen here in a second to show you. But it's variations of, like I read them, and it's people are asking the same thing, but in their own way, in their own sentences and things like that. So I've compiled 5 of them that sort of really kind of hammer it home. And then there's one honorable mention as well. But like I said, I could have done a top 30. Like, really, at the end of the day. But, and maybe I'll do another top 5 in like another week or two. Who knows, right? But anyway, let's go over to the other screen now. Other screen. There we are. Number 1 is, how long is the movie going to be? Well, I released, now this was a question that I got asked a lot. I mean, really from the inception of the film. How long is it going to be? This is one that 2 or 3 weeks ago, I made the announcement of officially how long the film was going to be. We estimated that the movie was actually going to be anywhere between 25 and 30 minutes long. And the reason for that is because, believe it or not, the script is only 23 and a half pages. It's only 23 and a half pages. Now, there's a rule of thumb in film, and this is just a ballpark, all right? There's a lot of variables that can change this, obviously. But the rule of thumb is that it's about a minute a page. So what you have on a page usually takes up about a minute of screen time. That's a general rule of thumb. Now, that can depend on how much dialogue is on the page, how much action is on the page. And when I mean action, I don't mean like action movie action, explosions, and it can mean that, but action just means, like walking from one room to the next. Okay, I mean, that's action. That's action in a script. What's the action? What's the character doing, right? Not just saying, what are the characters doing? And the characters can just be walking around a house for 5 minutes, right? So that's important to remember as well. And because this is a horror movie, and there's a lot of nuance and a lot of suspense and things like that, we did have pages in our script that are not just a minute long. Sometimes the action unfolding on this one page could be 2 or 3 minutes, right? So that's one of the reasons why ultimately our 23.5 page script ended up being a 42-minute movie. Now, that is the length of the movie. The movie is 42 minutes long. Okay, now I know for some that it's like, woohoo, that's great, longer means better. Well, not necessarily. I mean, get your minds out of the gutter, ladies and gentlemen. But no, it's true. And I think it's important that it doesn't necessarily mean that. The reason why I think people get very excited about the length of a movie and when it's longer than what they expect or what they're hoping for is because it's psychological, right? When you are really excited about something, whether it's Star Wars or Marvel or Halloween, I mean, if they had announced that Halloween Kills was going to be 2.5 hours long, there is a large segment of the population that wouldn't even blink. They would think that was the greatest fucking news they've ever heard in their lives. Oh my God, 2.5 hours long, Halloween Kills, woohoo! And it's like, whoa. Not necessarily here, okay? So, there's a variety of reasons why longer is not always better in terms of a film runtime. It can be, but it depends on the subject matter. It depends on the content. It depends on the story. Is there more to tell? We've all seen movies where we've been like, that was great. It should have ended like 30 minutes ago, right? So again, there's reasons why people get excited for that. Our film was 42 minutes long. There was very little fat that we left. We shot what we set out to shoot. There were a few minor things that we've cut, but nothing major. It was a lean, mean machine. You know how Tommy Lee Wallace on the original Halloween said, there's not a lot of deleted scenes. Like there's bloopers and stuff, but in terms of like deleted scenes, he said it was lean and mean. Like there wasn't a lot of fat. Tommy Lee Wallace said that. And he said because that's largely because, we were a $320,000 movie. We had 3-4 weeks to shoot this thing. We didn't have time to fuck around. We didn't have time to shoot multiple takes of one scene from different angles. Like we stuck to the script essentially, right? So that's pretty much the same thing that we had. Now, we weren't a $320,000 movie. We were a $60,000 movie, and we didn't have 4 weeks to shoot. We had a week to shoot. But the same principles applied, right? We didn't have a lot of time to be trying different things. Were there a few shots that did end up in the movie that were not in the script? Yes. Because, fellow filmmakers out there will know that the goal is always to follow the script and your shot list because that keeps you on track, it keeps you on pace, keeps you on budget. But sometimes when you are in the moment, in the environment, especially when you're shooting on location, some things that you didn't think about or, some things will spontaneously pop up where you're like, oh, you know what? Do we have time to get that? Yeah, we do. Okay, I think we should get it. We may not use it, we may not need, but let's fucking shoot it, right? So sometimes those things happen too. But It's Me, Billy was lean and mean. And we shot what we set out to shoot. Now, the 42-minute runtime is the TRT. Now, what does TRT stand for? That stands for total runtime. Now, your total runtime, I'm sure there's always exceptions, but your TRT, when they announce the length of a movie, that is usually always including credits. Okay. So they will not announce the runtime of a movie without credits. They announce the TRT, the total runtime is 96 minutes. Well, that's 96 minutes with credits. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm sure there are exceptions, but generally that's the rule. So It's Me, Billy is 42 minutes long with credits. With credits. Okay. So keep that in mind. All right. 2, what is the film about? So again, it's not that people have specifically asked verbatim exactly like that, but I've gotten variations of different questions on what's the film about? When does it take place? What's going on? All that kind of stuff. And they can generally be sort of compartmentalized all down into this one group that is, what is the movie about? Well, for those of you that may not know, you may be new to my channel. You may be tuning into this episode going, what the fuck is he talking about? I mean, I've had a couple of people over the last several weeks on my social media, honest to goodness, be like, what's this about? What's going on? I don't even know. It's crazy, I know, but it's true. It's Me, Billy is a fan film that I have written, directed, and produced with my buddy, Bruce Dale. This is a professional film of the highest quality. We shot on cinematic grade equipment. This is a real movie. It's a fan film in terms of genre, but it's a film. It's a professional short film. And it is an unofficial sequel to the original Black Christmas. And it takes place 50 years, give or take, about 50 years, because obviously 50 years won't be until 2024, but give or take 50 years, roughly 50 years after the events of the first movie. So it is not a sequel to the 2006 movie, and it is certainly not a sequel to the 2019 movie. This is an unofficial sequel to the original Black Christmas that follows the granddaughter of Jess Bradford, the original main star of the first movie, played by Olivia Hussey. It follows the granddaughter of that character years later. And this granddaughter of Jess Bradford, her name is Sam, played by the uber talented Victoria Miro. Victoria, if you're watching, you're amazing, but you know that. The entire cast is amazing. I mean, let's be serious. I cannot wait for you guys to see them. Brilliant. It follows her as she is spending Christmas Eve with her two best friends, Emma and Justine, played by Shelby and Malika, Shelby Handley and Malika Henney, at her grandmother's old country mansion. And, you know, you can imagine what goes on from there. I can't tell you too much after that, but she eventually comes face to face, as the synopsis says, she comes face to face with her grandmother's chilling Christmas past. And so in a nutshell, that is the ballpark synopsis of what the film is about. I can't tell you any more than that because I don't want to give away spoilers and I don't want to unnecessarily plant things in your mind to lead you to believe certain things that may or not be true. Sometimes when you get asked, like I get asked all the time, are you going to do a sequel? And I'm like, well, I can't answer that. And they're like, so that means you are going to do a sequel. It's like, no, it means that I don't want you to have any preconceived notions going into the movie one way or the other. I want you to watch it as it is, right? And then whatever the ending is, or whatever happens, or whatever sequence of events leads to wherever, it is what it is, right? So that's why you'll hear me often say, I can't answer that. It's not that my no is a yes. It doesn't mean that in this actual, and that's not mean, and that doesn't mean that there aren't people that actually do mean that. But in this instance, my answer is not a no and it's not a yes. It's neutral. It really is, because I am somebody that firmly believes that I want my audience to have as organic and as pure as an experience as possible, so that whatever happens without or with as little preconceived ideas, expectations, and notions as possible, right? And maybe it'll be the kind of thing that, you want to watch a couple of times. Actually, I hope it is the kind of movie you watch more than once. You know what I mean? I hope it becomes the kind of movie that people at Christmas time watch Black Christmas and then they watch It's Me, Billy. I mean, it's like a double feature. I hope, well, it's not a feature film, it's a short film, but I hope it is a nice extension off of that. You know what I mean? So that is essentially what the film is about. I could go deeper into that for you, but I want you to be able to watch it on May 28th. I think Bruce and I have done a really good job. We have been so diligent on our marketing strategy and our marketing plan. When we roll out things, when we drop trailers, when we drop images, we really are handling this like a big studio would. In terms of what we reveal, when we drop things, these are not just arbitrarily done. We make these decisions based on, our marketing strategy. And I think we've done, if I do say so myself, but then again, I guess I can because I have the perspective of knowing what happens in the movie. But we've done a very good job at giving you a teaser trailer, a full-length trailer. There might be something else coming, just saying. Just a little something, I'm just saying. without giving anything away. And that's difficult to do. That can be difficult too. I thought my lip was bleeding there for a minute. You know when your lips get dry and sometimes they crack and bleed? I thought I tasted copper, which is the taste of blood. But I don't, no, I don't think so. That'd be creepy right now. It's me. So yeah, I think we've done a really good job at showing you enough to get you excited, but not showing you hardly anything. I think when you watch the movie, you'll actually realize how little we actually did show in terms of that. So that was carefully calculated, but deliberate, of course, because in a short movie that's roughly 40 minutes long, that's like half the length of a feature, even less than that, because most features are most are like 90 minutes and above. That's hard to do, but I think we've done a good job. Number 3, can I watch it on Netflix or Amazon? Believe it or not, I do get people asking me that. I wish. Oh boy, do I wish. No. Some people have said, well, you could put it on Amazon because, I have a buddy who's a filmmaker and his short film's on Amazon, and no doubt about it. Listen, I know filmmakers in the industry who have films on Amazon as well, short films, feature films. But the answer to that is no. And the reason is because, again, we don't own the intellectual property of the IP. We don't own the rights to the characters or, the characters we've created, Victoria, Sam, Shelby, and Maleka. Yes, those are our characters. We own the rights to those characters. But in terms of Billy and the Black Christmas IP and all that kind of stuff, the answer is no. Obviously, we don't own that. So we can't put it on Amazon. We cannot commercialize the movie. We don't have the rights to do that. So it will be available for everybody to watch free on YouTube. I wish, that would be great. The best case scenario is that everybody loves it so much that, somebody comes and says, hey, we love you, whoever owns the rights. I'm assuming it's Blumhouse, but they were the production company that made the Black Christmas movie from 2019. But I'd have to, they could be, I got to find that out. Anyway, but nonetheless, that would be, the ultimate amazing dream, right? Be like, hey, we really like this. We want to talk to you guys about that. That'd be amazing, right? So the shorter answer, like I said, is just no, we can't because of that, unfortunately. Number 4, what was it like to make? Again, this is basically the simple version of a variety of different ways people have asked me about this. It was amazing. I've talked about this before on the channel. It was amazing. Obviously I've made a lot of little short films before in my life, but this was the first time I had stepped into this role at this level. And working in the entertainment industry as I have for over 20 years, I've made a lot of connections and met a lot of people. And Bruce, of course, who's worked in the entertainment industry for over 20 years, has made a lot of connections and worked with a lot of people. And Bruce is very boots on the ground in terms of the film side, especially because of his job at William F. White International, which is Canada's largest distributor of lighting and grip gear in the country. So, they more often than not will be the go-to supplier when Hollywood comes up to Canada and Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, wherever, to get their lighting and grip gear, and sometimes camera as well. They have a big camera department as well. So he's very boots on the ground there, day to day. I've spent most of my life, of course, on the voiceover side of things. But when you work in the entertainment industry, depending on what you're doing, paths cross all the time, and there's overlap, and you meet people by going to places, and people introduce you to people and all that kind of stuff. So but I'd never made a movie. I went to college for film, but I've never made a movie at this level, with a professional crew, with professional grade gear, fully doing it legit, like full on, So it was an amazing first time experience. I am so glad my first time experience was this. And that doesn't mean that there weren't some headaches in terms of, stress and trying to get things done and trying to get things done on time and trying to figure out and problem solve, of course. But at the end of the day, it was an amazing experience. And the best gift that Bruce and I think, have received so far, on top of the footage looking amazing and everything coming together, is there's been several people that were part of the crew, and I'll leave them nameless because I don't know if they want their names mentioned, but there were a couple of people that were part of the crew. Well, I know I can mention our DP, Greg, because I know he's publicly said it, but there were several people on the crew, and again, our crew are working professionals in the industry. This is what they do day to day. They've since gone on to do probably 5 or 6 shows since. I mean, this is what they do. It's Me, Billy was just another job that they were doing in their careers. You know what I mean? They work on shows that end up on, Netflix, Amazon. I mean, this is a professional crew, and they work on everything from independent to top stuff. So it was really amazing to hear some of our crew say things like, this was the best experience I've had working on a set. Some people have said that, or they'll say things like, we know that this is your first time doing this at this level. You would never know it. Like you guys are so prepared. You're more prepared than seasoned pros that do this every day, all day. Like it says the set was relaxed and chill and inclusive, and everybody was talking and having fun and making a movie and problem solving. He said, it's amazing. We've had certain people say that, and that is probably the best gift that Bruce and I could have received, because that means that if we want to work with these people again, they're likely to say yes, because they had such a good time the last time. The last thing you want is to have a problematic set. And it happens, right? I mean, listen, it ain't all sunshine and rainbows, especially the higher you go up, the more the budget is, the more crew there is. I mean, to be fair, right, we got to put things in perspective. We had a crew, cast and crew was close to 20 people, right? That's a very tiny crew, but it's a very tiny shoot. It was one location. We weren't having to load up trucks and travel all over the country and then fly here and then fly to there. Then again, if you're, doing that, you have a large crew and, many more people taking care of all that. But the principle is still the same, right? Is that not every film shoot is sunshine and rainbows, as Sylvester Stallone would say. It can be crazy. So it was relieving that our first time at this level was something that was good. You know what I mean? Very good. It was a great experience for everybody. Cast as well. I mean, I can't tell you how many times, the girls said that, they've been on many sets where same thing. It's like, but this set was great. And we were, a little family for a week. So it was a great experience in that sense, to make. And it was great to be able to put my knowledge to the test as well, to step into that role as a director, as a writer, as a producer, and put my knowledge to the test. And I know that Bruce feels the same way, to put his knowledge to the test and collaborate and try to bring a story to life, try to bring the next chapter of Black Christmas to life. And the cool thing, and I've said it before, but I'll say it again before we move on to the next question here. I think one of the coolest moments for me being on set, and I know Bruce feels the same way, there were many cool moments. Like there were moments where, and this is sort of the byproduct of working with a professional crew and a professional DP, is that there were many moments where, we would look at each other and we'd be like, oh my God, that's my favorite shot. Like, oh my God, the shot looks so good. Oh, I love this shot. Like several times throughout the day, all of us had like a new favorite shot. You know what I mean? Like 4 or 5 times a day we were changing. Oh no, that's my new favorite shot. But that's the reality of when you're working with people that do this and know how to light a scene and light, actors and then of course you got Greg who's been doing this for I think nearly 30 years if I'm not mistaken. 2-time CSC award nominee, shot on everything from Aries to Reds to DSLRs. I mean, the guy knows his craft. That's the result that you get. And that doesn't mean that you're going to get that all the time, but that's what you get. That's because they know what they're doing. I think one of the best things for me, was although this is not a official sequel, it's not like Blumhouse has come to us and said, okay, or whoever, okay, we want you to make the, blah, blah, blah. And because if that was the case, it'd be a feature film. We'd have a much larger crew, maybe even a bigger cast, maybe not though. Certainly a larger crew. But because we handled, and I know I've said it before, but I have to emphasize this because it was so apparent to me. It was a feeling. Because Bruce and I were so prepared from jump, like right from the beginning, we were prepared. We treated, although this is a fan film, it's a fan film in subgenre only. That's it. It's like Never Hike Alone, Never Hike Alone, Never Hike Alone, or Never Hike in the Snow, right? It's a fan film in subgenre, but when you watch Never Hike in the Snow, the production value, the quality, everything that Vince did, brought to the table, the people he has involved, all that kind of stuff, you know, it's a legit film. It's a legit production. And that is the same with this, you know, is it felt like when we were on set, looking at all the gear, looking at the crew, how hard they were working, myself and Bruce and the actors, it really did feel like we were making the sequel to Black Christmas. You know, there was that illusion that was there because of, it was a real film set, you know, and so it really did feel like that. Now, I know Bruce felt that way too. I can't speak for anybody. I don't want to speak for anybody else, but it wouldn't surprise me if a few other people felt that. Actually, I think maybe a few of the actors might have felt that too. But that's what it felt like. And that was really darn cool. That was really, really darn cool. So that was a really part of the, what was it like to make, that was something that was pretty cool. Although it's not official and it's not going to wind up on Netflix or Amazon, and it's not going to, you know, it's not going to be the official sequel. It certainly felt like we were making it. And I think, you know, who knows? Maybe people out there will consider it the official sequel, even though it's not. Maybe it will be. Who knows, right? We'll see. But it was, I mean, I could go on and on about what it was like, what it was like to make. But in a general sense, you know, in a nutshell, believe it or not, that's what it was like. It was an amazing experience to be able to work with the crew and not have to worry about, because with my other short films as well, you know, I was the jack of all trades. I was writing it, I was producing it, I was directing it, I was shooting it, I was editing it, I was sound designing it, I was key grip, I was gaffer, and same with Bruce. He was doing like 500 jobs as well, right? With this, because we had people actually doing those jobs, it was great to be able to focus in on our job only. You know what I mean? And that doesn't mean we didn't help out or we didn't, you know, hear ideas as well. I mean, the crew were great with suggesting ideas as well. There were many moments where some of the crew were like, you know, maybe you should try that instead. And we were like, that's a great idea, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, let's do we have time to? Yeah, okay, let's do that. You know what I mean? So it was just great. It was a great experience. But it is not lost on me that the next experience, whenever or whatever that is, won't necessarily be that. You always hope for those kinds of experiences. Number 5, does it stay true to the original? Again, this is a question that's not necessarily spelled out in this way verbatim, but it is generally, this is what people ask me a lot. I think so, yes. I mean, you know, then again, I'm the co-director, co-writer, and co-producer of the project, so there's a little bit of bias coming from me, but I believe so, yes. I believe that this is more true to the original film than the 2006 film is, and certainly than the 2019 film is. I think when you watch this movie, you will definitely feel Black Christmas. You know, I don't want to give anything away, I don't want to give spoilers away, but I do believe that what we set out to do, we accomplished. And that was to create a film that was, and again, I think it's important to keep in mind that this is not a Friday the 13th movie. This is not a Scream film. This is not, you know, Texas Chainsaw, high octane blood, guts, and blood, guts, and gore. This is very much in line with the original film. And the original film is a slow burn psychological horror movie. And that's what this is. And I think it will be apparent when you see it. You know, you'll be like, oh, at least I hope so. That's the goal, right? And I only mention that not because I'm not confident in the film or proud of it. I mention it because I have had people, their heart's in the right place, but I have had people sort of mistakenly think that maybe it's going to be something that it isn't. Like I've had people say, I can't wait for the blood, or, how much blood is there going to be? And I'm not saying there isn't any. I'm just saying that, and that's kind of like, well, I think it's not Never Hike in the Snow. It's not like in the first 4 minutes of the movie, you're going to get an axe to the face, right? I mean, it's not that, it's a different style, right? So we are staying very true to the original movie in a short film, in a short runtime. So that, you have to keep in mind as well. But I've seen the movie, obviously, front to back to front, obviously, many times, being that I'm editing it and doing all the sound design. And I'm very happy with it. I am. I'm very happy with how it's turned out. It's turned out exactly, I mean, I'm going to say like 95, and I only give 5% room for movement, because obviously, there's certain things that maybe I wish we could go back and get, like a few insert shots, some cutaways, maybe, nurture that shot, maybe just a bit more, maybe get another angle on that shot, like small things like that. Do you know what I mean? But there's nothing detrimental to the narrative that we didn't get, or that, oh, geez, now it's a catastrophe, because not at all. Not at all. So I always give that wiggle room for, that would have been nice to have. You know what? If we had more time, we probably should have got that. But it's nothing that you would be like, oh, they didn't get that, because, you wouldn't know, So we accomplished pretty much everything that we set out to do. And so it does stay true to the original film in terms of its vibe, its tone, its feel. It does stay true to that, for sure. In my opinion, anyway. I mean, ultimately, you'll be the judge of that. But if you're a big fan of the original, and again, this is like James Cameron saying that Terminator Genesis is, the best one since T2, which he actually did say. So, take it with a grain of salt. But I'd like to think I'm not James Cameron talking about Terminator Genesis. In my opinion, albeit I am the guy that worked on it, I believe that if you really like the original, you'll really like this one. That's my opinion. All right. Okay. Honorable mention. That's what HM stands for. Honorable mention, because I get this one a lot too. Will you do a Halloween fan film like It's Me, Billy, or any other fan film? Well, I never say never. The reason why I didn't do a Halloween fan film at this level, and I could have done it, and we might have been able to raise $500,000 because people would have lost their mind. I didn't decide to do a Halloween fan film, like I've said a few times on this channel, because the Halloween fan film market, I'll call it, market with air quotes, is saturated. It's saturated. And some are really good, right? Some are just backyard films with your friend. Most are your backyard films with your friends. You know what I mean? They're not what would be considered like a professional independent film. But then there are some that are really well shot, really good. But there's an abundance of them. Now, you may say, well, then that's the more reason to do something that's of this caliber at that level. It's true, but the number one reason is that it's saturated. The number two reason is that you don't want to. Trancas has been, although they've relaxed, I think, a little bit over the last few years. There was a Halloween fan film that came out that was going to be released, not the one with Tony Moran. I know that one was canceled. There was one about 7 or 8 years ago, and I believe it was overseas. It was a French filmmakers or something. I can't remember. And they had shot a movie. I remember seeing a clip or something. I forget the guys' names. Anyway, they were served, essentially, like, don't fucking release it, because it looked amazing. Now, this is like maybe the early part of the 2010s, maybe like 2012, 2013, 2014, maybe somewhere in there, I think. I think it was two French brothers, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know what they shot it on. It might have just been one of the Canon Mark IIs, but it looked spectacular from what I remember seeing. And Trancas put a stop to that pretty quick. The release of that, I mean, obviously they couldn't, I mean, maybe it was shot on one of the C100s, I can't remember, but they didn't, they they couldn't release it. But I remember they had released something like a behind the scenes featurette on it or something, showing all the work that went into it and stuff. It was remarkable. It really was. It would be remarkable to see that today. So, you know, you don't want to poke the bear too much. Black Christmas came along because I know there's one or two Black Christmas fan films online that I remember saying that I think we are the first. Technically, we're not the first, technically. But the other two Black Christmas fan films, or maybe there's a couple others that I've seen, I haven't seen any that are, you know, I mean, they're home movies is what they are. They're just amateur home films. There's nothing of this caliber. And we're Canadian. We're two Canadian filmmakers from Toronto well, I'm from Toronto. Bruce is from Ottawa. I moved to Ottawa when I was 10. Some people people who grew up with me might actually think that I'm from Ottawa. I'm actually not from Ottawa. I was born in Toronto, moved to Ottawa, which is Canada's Washington. It's our nation's capital. Moved to Ottawa when I was 10, lived there through my teenage years, went to high school. That's where I met Bruce, all that. And then I moved back this way to Toronto because if you want to, you know, get into the business, Toronto and Vancouver are the places to be in Canada. So, you know, we're two filmmakers from Toronto. Black Christmas is a Canadian horror movie shot in Toronto with, you know, a few Canadian actors in there as well. And it's become a cult classic of the genre. And it's one of the most famous Canadian horror films that, you know, ever made. It was something that there was a lot of romanticism around it. Do you know what I mean? So that's why we made that choice to do Black Christmas. We liked that idea. It wasn't saturated. It was something new. It was something different. You know, I like to do things that not everybody is doing. I like to be a leader in that sense, and as best as I can. And so that's what we did. That's why we ultimately chose Black Christmas. Now, Bruce, he hadn't seen it. He had known about it. He met the camera operator on it through his work, but he had never seen it. So when I brought it to Bruce's attention, he was like, I don't know, you know, you want to really. But when we sat down and watched it, Bruce loved it. He got it. Like he understood why this was certainly very effective in 1974, why it's become a cult classic today. He can see how other films were influenced by this movie. It was a very influential horror film. And he thought, yeah, two Canadians doing this, but doing it at this level, I love it. Let's see if we can do this. So fast forward 2 years and here we are. So that is ultimately why we did that. Now, in order to do a Halloween fan film, I mean, Bruce and I have now set a bar. And what I mean by a bar is that it's that same bar that Vince has set with his Never Hike Alone films. It's the same bar that Cecil will no doubt set with Dylan's new Nightmare. So that's where filmmakers like myself and Vince and Cecil, where we're taking it to. So any movie we do after that, that's the expectation now. Like you set an expectation, and those movies are not cheap. You know, so there's reasons why Never Hike Alone, you know, Never Hike in the Snow look the way they do. You know, there's reasons why It's Me, Billy looks the way it does so far in those trailers. And that's thanks to you guys, right? It's because we're able to rent the gear, hire the people, you know, and the expertise behind that to be able to create production value. And that's not easy to do. It's not cheap, you know, and that doesn't mean that if you got a DSLR and, you know, filmmaking sensibilities that you can't create amazing looking short films that look really good on, you know, DSLRs. You can. People do it. They've done it. But there is a difference in terms of the dynamic range and the stop latitudes and everything. When you are able to work with cinematic grade cameras and equipment, there's just no comparison. So if we were to set out to make another fan film, or a Halloween fan film, that's sort of the bar, you know, and it's a lot of work. We have to be passionate because, you know, you have to keep in mind too, that Bruce and I were not paid. We were not paid to do this film. We were not paid. So it takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of emotional commitment, which we were all on board for. It's our passion. We love doing it, but it takes a lot of that to do, right? So, to step into that again, it has to be something, if we're not getting paid and nothing is coming of it, like we can't get, 2% of the box office receipts, do you know what I mean? If there's no kickback financially, then we have to be really passionate about it. Because if we're going to do it for free, essentially, which is what we did, we got to be really passionate about the story we're telling, the IP and everything, right? And I don't know if I'm passionate right now to do that with Halloween. And with Halloween Kills and Ends on the horizon, I think poking the bear at this point in the game, I mean, we could, like, if we did the same thing we did with It's Me, Billy, Bruce and I would be able to turn out a Halloween fan film that looks like Halloween Kills. I mean, it would be shorter, but in terms of its production value, that's how it would look. I don't think Universal and Blumhouse and Trancas would be happy about that, especially in the midst of, because they don't, do you know what I mean? I don't think they want that. So they would, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Halloween is also shooting on the area as well, which is what we shot on. So I just don't want to poke any bears unnecessarily. I want, we didn't make this fan film to poke any bears. We made it as a tribute. It's not just a fan film, it's a tribute film. It's an homage. It's something to celebrate. And we hope that people everywhere celebrate it. And who knows what it'll do, if anything. Maybe it won't do anything for our filmmaking, careers. Maybe it'll do nothing. But we're very happy with it. We're very pleased with it. And we're very proud of everybody who's been a part of it. But yeah, in order to do a Halloween fan film, or any other fan film, it would have to be, now we've set a bar, so we have to do it like this, because that's what people expect. And we have to be passionate about it. We got to be really passionate about it. And at this point in the game, I don't know if I'm passionate about doing a Halloween fan film, and I don't want to poke the bear because of everything that's going on. So, yeah. So those are my answers. Long, I know, but would you expect anything less? I'm very detailed. Can't say you don't get detailed questions from me, at the very least. But yeah, let's go to the chat room and see what you guys are saying. I know a couple super chats did come in. Let me see if I can get them. There were just two. Did just two come in? Reese Wilson says, best of luck with the release of It's Me, Billy. Thank you, Reese. However each individual feels about the final product, we all know you, Bruce, and the cast and crew gave it your all with the resources, budget, and talent you had. I really appreciate you saying that, Reese. Really, really appreciate you saying that, and you're right. At the end of the day, there is no control over how someone perceives the film. But I do think it's important that people have realistic expectations, and understand that this is a movie that is like the original. We didn't make a movie in terms of its tone and its aesthetic and style. We obviously make creative decisions that advance the narrative forward. We're not just making the same movie over again. We do, there are things that happen in the movie that push the narrative forward. We do answer questions, but we also create new ones. And that is a deliberate, calculated, creative choice as well. Whether everybody agrees with our creative choices, who knows? I mean, that's just the reality by letting the chips fall where they may. I have no doubt that there's going to be some people that are going to love it. There's going to be some people that are going to be like, nah, it was okay. There's going to be some people that are probably going to, well, I don't think anybody's going to hate it. I think those who it's the worst movie I've ever seen, those are just trolls that, have the IQ of a turnip. I mean, but certainly, is it going to meet your expectations or exceed them? I don't know. I have no idea. We just went out, made the movie, and told the story that we wanted to tell. And we see what happens, right? We see what happens, but we're very proud of it. We're very proud of it. And we're very, happy with how it turned out. There isn't anything that, we're basically leaving no excuses. So if people don't like it, then they don't like it. And it's not going to cause Bruce and I to go, we should, because we shot everything we set out to do, so we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, no, I appreciate you saying that, man. I really do. Matthew Ferresi says, for it's me, Billy. Can't wait. Thank you, Matthew. I appreciate that. We can't wait either. Did you see the photo I posted of Victoria today on social media? I posted, let me see if I can get that photo up quickly here. I posted this image. Well, it's on the thumbnail, but I'm going to bring it up anyway, just because it's a great fucking, this one right here. Oh, this is so great. Oh, it's so big. There we go. There we go. Is that such a great shot? Love it. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. She looks great. What's she thinking? What's she looking at? What's going on? The wheels and the heads of Black Christmas fans are spinning everywhere, ladies and germs. But yeah, this is great. So I posted this today, 3 weeks away, folks, 3 weeks away. Look at that lighting in the background there too. Our crew did such an amazing job. Like, look into the house, right? That depth of field. So you have the door here, right? And then you have the wreath on the door, as you can see. And then you have, like, the door is open ajar, right? And then if you look into the house there, you got great depth of field, and you can see the moonlight cascading onto the wall behind her. I mean, it's so, these are the tiny nuances and details that just, you know, I mean, I remember when we shot this, it was probably about, oh God, I don't know, 3 o'clock in the morning, maybe 4 o'clock in the morning, something like that. And, you know, this is an example of one of those things where we were like, God, this is my new favorite shot. But it's those attention to details, right? You know, with the moonlight cascading through one of the big bay windows in the house behind her there. It's just this attention to detail is great. And then, of course, you have a tungsten balance light, you know, above her here, acting as a porch light. A little bit of inside knowledge there, you know what I mean? And you know, the contrast between the warm tungsten feel out on the porch and the cooler, colder feel within the house. I mean, our crew was amazing. Our crew was outstanding at capturing the vibe and the tone and the feel and the vision that Bruce and I had. This is undoubtedly one of my favorite shots and use of depth of field and the lighting that our crew did. I mean, it's really cool stuff, man. It's really cool stuff. Let me tell you. Nick P was here. Hey, Nick, you were here and you're still here. He says, Dave, do you need to watch the original? Do you need to watch the original in order to follow your movie? You know, if you've never seen the original ever, then I would say yes, because then it's going to give you a little more context to what you're watching in It's Me, Billy. If you've watched the original, you remember the original, you know it, then I don't think you need to watch it before you watch It's Me, Billy. If you've seen it before, but you can't really remember it, you saw it once like 20 years ago or 10 years ago or even 5 years ago, and you can't really remember it, well, then yeah, I would watch it again. It's not like a direct follow-up in the sense that, you know, the next day, you know what I mean? It's not like that. So there is quite a bit of distance between the two stories. But there are definitely certain things, like when, you know, Sam's talking about her grandma and you know, all that. Well, you know, if you have no idea what the fuck she's talking about, then those moments are not going to resonate with you, right? I think they're going to resonate with you more if you have emotional context by watching the original film, because then you can understand what she's talking about and you can make that connection to the original. So, you know, there's certain Easter eggs throughout the movie as well and stuff. So it's, you know, without that connection, I think, you know, it might just seem a little hollower than maybe it needs to be for you. So, but if you've seen it, like, you know, a couple of times and you remember it fairly well, then I wouldn't say you need to watch it, because you should already be able to make those connections. Let me see here. Die Hard Drummer, or no, Da Drummer 0215. Are you the same as Die Hard Drummer? Maybe not. I don't know. Says, Sir Dave, I had a premonition last night that It's Me, Billy will become the next biggest thing since Sliced Cheese Whiz. Amazing. Amazing. Yes. Yes, I can't wait to be immersed in the mood and atmosphere. Well, there's definitely mood and atmosphere in this movie too. And remember, mood and atmosphere isn't just, light and shadow, right? In terms of, nighttime and darkness. That's not, I mean, that's a big part of mood and atmosphere, obviously, right? Because, things that go bump in the night, we are scared, by the unknown and things like that. And most horror movies either take place all at night or have a big portion of their film at night or major scenes at night, suspense and all that kind of stuff. And we're no different in that sense. But mood is a feeling. Mood is a feeling. And that feeling can, mood and atmosphere are feelings, right? And so mood and atmosphere can happen during the daytime too, and I think we've done a very good job at creating that mood and atmosphere through the whole movie, not just at nighttime or at, the dinner scene or on the front, on the porch, the two girls. The whole movie has a very moody, aesthetic feel to it, which is all done, of course, through our amazing DP, Greg Bennett, who also did the color on it as well. And again, thank you, Greg. You are amazing. And of course, the sound, right? I did all the sound and all that kind of stuff, and how it's shot and the creative decisions on the angles to choose and all that. So it's a team effort. Like everybody is firing on all cylinders. And so yes, there's definitely, I mean, there isn't a horror movie that I would work on or want to be a part of where the first words out of my mouth would not be, there needs to be mood and atmosphere. It certainly has that for sure. Destiny Faulkner. Hello, Destiny. Says, I'm so excited about it. Destiny, thank you so much. We are excited that you are excited. Amazing. Can't wait for you to see it. I did watch your trailer reaction, Destiny, that you did with Cody, right? I think it was over on, what's the name of your channel again? You've changed the name now. I watched your reaction to it, and it was great. You had the kind of reaction in terms of the trailer that we want people to have. I thought it was great. The way you said, oh my God, I just got chills. And you're not even 30 seconds in, but it was great, right? Because you are emotionally connected. You understand the original, you understand the nuance, you're connected that way. So for those of you that are emotionally connected and you hear what Sam is talking about 50 years later, I mean, this is the first time we're seeing this, we're hearing this, like, what the fuck's going on? You had that connection, which is great. I love it. I thought it was awesome. Super chat comes in from the Rusty Lion, sends in £5, I believe that is. Yes. Thank you, Rusty the Lion. Russ! Oh, there you are. Vacation joke. Excited for It's Me, Billy, mate. I haven't seen the original, so I'm going to have to see it and watch them together on release. Much love, brother. Thank you very much, the Rusty Lion, my man. And that's cool, man. That's cool. I know a few people that are going to do that. They're going to watch Black Christmas and then watch It's Me, Billy. I just hope that, again, Black Christmas is an acquired taste of a movie. And when I say acquired taste is that it's a slow burn, right? If you like slow burn, older movies, psychological, then you'll probably really like it. But if you're expecting Black Christmas to be like Halloween or Texas Chainsaw, you'll probably be disappointed. You know what I mean? So I always say that to people, because I find that Black Christmas is the kind of movie that you either really love because you love that kind of thing, or you just don't like it at all. You know what I mean? Because the criticism that you'll see from people that don't like it is usually, it was too slow, it was too boring, right? And then the praise that you'll see from those who love it, like me, is that love the slow burn, love the creepiness, right? So it depends on where you fall. I just hope for those that have never seen it, including yourself. I know you'll watch my film anyway. But hopefully it won't turn people like, oh God, Jesus Christ, It's Me, Billy is a sequel to this piece of shit. Oh, I don't want to fucking watch. I hope that doesn't happen to people. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I think Black Christmas is a great movie of the subgenre. And you'll see, let's not forget, this is 4 years before Halloween. You'll see a lot of how this movie influenced a lot of films that came afterwards. There's a lot of tropes that were not necessarily first introduced in Black Christmas, but certainly is maybe best known as being one. Black Christmas is definitely one of the pioneers of modern horror. Let's just put it that way. Harry Hagen, my man, sends in $1.99. Thanks, Harry. Says, where does one learn the lingo of a director? Well, it depends on what you're talking about. I mean, I'm sure you could search online. There's lots of, if you just do a quick Google search, and learn about the craft of directing, I'm sure you'll come across great articles and information on that. There's books, no doubt. I mean, if you were to go onto Amazon or some store where you can buy books, the art of filmmaking or directing and the craft and all, but it would be, although there is crossover in terms of directing for television, theater, and film, certainly it is the film-centric side that you want, rather than the stage and TV. Although there is a lot of overlap. But I just think any good book on filmmaking, directing, writing, maybe it talks about all the jobs and the stages of production, development, pre-production, production, post-production, distribution. Any good, I don't know one off the top of my head. I would have to go and look. But certainly there are, look for ones that have good reviews, maybe ones that are written or endorsed by a prominent filmmaker or writer or director, something like that. It's out there, man. It's out there. You know what I mean? It's out there for sure. For sure. I just want to make sure I didn't miss any super chats. I don't believe I did. I want to, let me show you another picture. Let me see if I can get another picture up here. Let me just see. Let me see. Another picture. Oh yeah, where is that now? Where is that? There we go. I think it's this one, right? Is it this one? There we go. Now, this one I released the other day. Love this image. Love this shot. Love this image. One of my favorite shots. Here's another one again, folks, where when we were shooting this, myself and everybody on the set, Bruce and everybody, and Greg, our DP, when we were shooting this, again, this became another, this is my new favorite shot. This is my new favorite shot. I mean, there were many moments throughout the course of the production, like I said earlier, where we had this. But again, this goes to look, the creative ideas to shoot a shot like this, to be this close, to have the performance that you're seeing here, is the result of myself and Bruce with our direction and our vision. However, the result of what you're seeing and how it's come to life, visually, aesthetically, is no doubt the result of our amazing crew in DP. And, again, great depth of field. On the right-hand side there, you see the glow of the lamp behind her. On the bottom sort of right, you see that yellowish sort of glow. And then you see, of course, behind her to the left on the wall back there, the moonlight cascading through the window onto the wall. Actually, I think that if I'm not mistaken, I think that is a window back there behind her. That's a window, if memory serves. So it's just blurred out, obviously, because we're focused on her. So we have, again, moonlight behind her through the window. And then we have this beautiful, she's lit by a lamp underneath her. And just, it's so great. It's so great. I love the way that they were able to capture the vision that we had. Michael King says she's thinking why this house got a landline. That's a question that I should have put actually on the list. It's not one that I get a lot though, but it's one that I think people are sort of missing the boat on and that they're not quite understanding. And here's the thing about that. You have to remember, folks, there's a reason why there's landlines in this house. Remember, the girls are not at their house. They're at their grandmother's old country mansion. If you pay attention to what the synopsis says, that's where they are. It's not Sam's phone and Sam's house. This is her above 70-year-old grandmother's house, right? It will make sense to you when you watch the movie. I would agree with you that if this was their house in the city and they had a landline, that wouldn't make any sense. That would not be believable. This doesn't make any sense. Why would a 23, 4-year-old girl have a rotary phone landline in her house? Clearly, the filmmakers are just trying to use an old rotary phone. I can assure you that's not the case here. That's not the case here. However, your quip, which I think is funny, by the way, brings up actually a good point. That was one of the areas of discussion that Bruce and I had. We wanted to use a landline. Because we wanted to, but how do we do that in 2020, 2021? How do we do that and make it believable? Because not only do very few people have landlines anymore, if they do have a landline, it's not a rotary phone. So how do we bring the old school rotary phones into the film and make it believable? Make it believable that these young girls would be picking up a rotary phone. Well, we've done that, and it makes sense. So just keep that in mind. For those of you that have wondered, it's not a clerical error. It's a deliberate creative choice. It's a deliberate creative choice. Oh, no, I know you were kidding. But you brought up a good point, though. You brought up a good point, because I have had some people ask that who were dead serious. I've actually had some people comment and be like, it was good, but I'm not buying the rotary phone thing. And it's like, well, did you read the synopsis? Did you think about it? You know what I mean? But it's funny, though. It does look, yeah, it does kind of look like that. It's like, why the fuck is this a rotary? Why am I picking up this phone? What is this contraption? It's so weird. It's so weird. But this is a great shot. One of my favorite shots again, and again, capturing the essence and the tone of the original Black Christmas. That's what we're going for. That was our goal. So everything you're seeing here is, of course, deliberately done. And we're very excited about how the way this turned out and the way this looks. And Victoria just gives a stellar performance all the way around. She was such a delight to work with. And the great thing about Victoria, and all of the girls actually, but especially Victoria, because she's so full of energy and got such a bubbly personality to her. I love her. She's great. When she's on, she's on. Like, she's on. Like, there ain't, it's on. You know what I mean? When she's in the mode, she's on. And then when you say cut, she can suddenly become somebody like her normal self. You know what I mean? Like, she can become serious on the drop of a dime. Extraordinarily talented. They all are. But Victoria was the one I noticed the most, because she's so like bubbly, you know what I mean? And she's so friendly. But man, when she turns it on, she's like fire. You know what I mean? Amazing. And it was such a cool week too, being there with them and hanging out, and it was just so fun. It was so great. Let me see here. Harry Hagen sends in $9.99, says, I did my own retro 80s style trailer for It's Me, Billy, that pays homage to grindhouse trailers of the 70s and 80s. I know you're too busy to check it out, but if you ever do, thanks. I think I might have seen that, Harry. I will do my best to check it out. and I will do my best to check it out because that actually sounds really cool. That actually sounds really cool, my man. Thank you for doing that. I really appreciate that, dude. I really, really appreciate that. I'm going to check it out. Or do my best to check it out. I always do, by the way, for those who say, can you check out this? Can you check that? I always do. I always do my best to try and remember to do that. But yeah, it's crazy busy right now. Like there's just so much going on. And, always remember, folks, and Harry, knows this too, because he's been a great supporter for a very long time. It's never personal, right? Like if I can't check out something, or if I forget to, or if, I don't get to your comment in the comment section, it's never personal, right? Never. I mean, I don't know any of you personally. It would never be personal. Not unless you make it personal, like a troll or, or something like that. Then, well, no, obviously I'm not going to do that. But Harry's been a great supporter. So Harry, yeah, if I have some time, if I remember to think of it, I'm going to check it out because that sounds actually really cool. That sounds really cool. I like when fans do that. You know what I mean? Fans what it really shows is that like your support and your love, you know what I mean? And that's really cool. It's like I appreciate that. And I appreciate everybody who's done, trailer reactions and it means a lot. It does mean a lot because obviously, it's a film that's not getting a wide release, so it needs all the help it can get to get eyeballs on it, right? And it's a property that not a lot of people care about or know about. Like I said, if I did a Halloween fan film at this level, or what Vince has done with Friday the 13th or Elm Street, we could probably get 500,000 views in our sleep. But with something like Black Christmas, there's still a lot of people that A, don't know about, or B, have never seen it. So it's going to need all the help it can get for sure to get the eyeballs on it. I'm very pleased, though, with how well both trailers have done. The teaser trailer from Christmas Eve has over 10,000 views now, and the official trailer from just like a month and a half ago has nearly 9,000 views now. So, combine that's close to 20,000 views, but that seems about right. That seems about right. I mean, some people make the comparison. I've had people reach out to me and say, are you disappointed because, the Never Hike in the Snow trailer has like 500,000 views and the film has like, 750,000 views. And it's like, no, I mean, that's Friday the 13th. That's Jason, that's a beloved property that is way more popular than that's a franchise, and it's got, the production value it has, and it's a sequel to Never Hike in the or Alone. There's a lot of hype around it. It's a different beast. It's different altogether. So I think it's, in terms of the realistic expectations, to have both trailers of It's Me, Billy have 10,000 views essentially. I think is very good. I'm hoping our movie can exceed that and hit. It'd be nice to get over 100,000 views on our film, but we'll see. We'll see, right? You let the chips fall where they may. The cool thing is, too, is that some people have asked, why are you releasing it in May and not Christmas? Well, there's two reasons for that. The first reason is a selfish one, because we don't want to wait. We're ready to go. We wanted to get it out for spring. We wanted to deliver something early because we're excited. The second reason is because it will likely have double impact. And so when you release a movie in the spring, people are very excited about it, right? And so people are going to watch it. It's going to do very well in terms of its first weekend. It'll probably do very well. And people are very excited about it. And then, of course, once we head into the fall season and Halloween, we can, actually it's triple impact. We can promote it then as well, something for Halloween, right? It's Me, Billy, Black Christmas, it's something you might be able to watch on Halloween or in that time, maybe we'll do a watch along here or something, you know what I mean? And then just a couple of months later, it might have a spike again in interest because of Christmas and Black Christmas. And then a lot of, YouTube channels will be doing Black Christmas reviews and watching Black Christmas. And then people might say, hey, did you see this sequel? You got to check it out. It's amazing. It looks, all this kind of stuff or whatever. So then it'll have another hit. You know what I mean? So that's the business reason, I guess, if you will, even though we can't make any money off of it. That would be, considered the business reason. But the personal reason is because we're just excited and we want to get it out. It's Christmas in May, folks. It's Christmas in May. It's Christmas in May. All right, let's see here. What else we got here? Michael Shane sends in $5 US. Thank you, Michael. Says, Dave, when this movie is released, or can I purchase it to help support it? Sorry if this has been answered in a previous video. Well, you can't purchase the movie. There's no Indiegogo campaign at the moment. Some people have asked if we were going to launch another one in regards to those who, or figure out a way to get Blu-ray copies into the hands of those who missed out on the Indiegogo campaign, or maybe didn't care, like, I'm not doing that. And now they see sort of the quality and they're like, oh, maybe I should have. There's no immediate plans for that yet. Our sole focus right now has just been on getting this movie out. And then once the movie is released, because obviously you can't have a Blu-ray until the movie is done. Once the movie is released, then we turn our sights fully to the Indiegogo perks. And one of our main priorities, of course, is getting the Blu-ray done and completed. And of course, that will be shipped out to all those who, and there's a lot of them to get done. And that will be shipped out, obviously, to those who purchased a Blu-ray. So we will definitely keep you posted on that. But in terms of additional Blu-rays, we don't know yet. It's something that Bruce and I have talked about. It's something that we will continue to talk about, but we're not 100% sure yet. And it's not something that we have to do. I mean, it's not it's something that some campaigns do to raise extra money, which and we appreciate the kind words there. We have had a number of people ask about it. When I say a number of people, maybe half a dozen, but that's not an exorbitant amount. I mean, that's not like, we've had like 500 people inquiring about it where we turn to each other and we're like, hey, you know what, maybe we should. But it is in the back of our mind. We're aware of it, but we're a small team. We're a small group of people. There's only so much we can do. So we have to lend major focus to getting the perks that need to be sent out. And we will keep you posted on that. And that's something that we'll be working on throughout the summer and, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. But I appreciate the super chat. And when I know more, if it's a yay or a nay on that, I will definitely make it known. Mikey Film sends in $2. Thanks, Mikey. Says, can't wait to see It's Me, Billy. Thank you, Mikey. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's going to be cool to see those doing reviews on it. I already know a few people that have said, oh, I'm going to do, a review on it. It's like, oh God, I mean, that's, but hey, that's the reality, right? You let the chips fall where they may. You deliver something, and if somebody likes it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. You know what I mean? If they don't, they don't. So that's the reality of being in a business where you are delivering art to the world, to the public, so to speak. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. Neil Rook, I think it's Rook, right? Says, hey, Dave, when you guys were holding auditions for the role of Billy, was it just a case of seeing how the actor looked on camera, or were there certain things the actor had to do to get the role? Yeah, there were a few things the actor had to do to get the role. It wasn't just a look on camera. Having said that, the look of our actor who plays Billy was a big part of the reason why he got the job. So yeah, take that as you will. There were a number of people that auditioned for Billy that were interested in the part. But the actor that won out, and we will name the actor, by the way. I'm not trying to keep him, secretive because I'm embarrassed by him or something. And he knows that too. He's totally on board of why he hasn't, his name hasn't been revealed, and he's sort of in the background, and his name will be revealed. It's not earth shattering or anything. We just like the idea of playing the anonymity of it. You know what I mean? He plays a role that is so, creepy and violent and Billy, right? But he is a sweetheart of a man. It's kind of like that. It's like that kind of, thing, how they always say that, this guy was so, but he was such a sweetheart of a guy in real life. You know what I mean? So the actor who plays Billy in It's Me, Billy, it was he's Billy, like I said, but he was and is a sweetheart of a guy. He was so tender and gentle, making sure that, everybody, our girls felt comfortable and all that kind of stuff too. So, Yeah, he's awesome. Shout out if he's watching. He's probably not watching, but if he is, shout out to him because he's fucking amazing. Let's see here. What do we got? We got Galford's dog says, a lot of people say cell phones wouldn't work in a slasher movie, but I disagree. The killer murders one person. They have access to all their contacts. They answer thinking it's their friend. Yeah, I don't know who says cell phones don't work in slasher movies. I think cell phones could work in slasher movies for the reasons you said. Yeah, I don't think that. Yeah, I don't think that. Oh, I think I know why. I think I know what you're saying. I think you're saying that because, you know, technology today, you know, maybe they star 6-9 to find out who called them. Maybe they see call display. Maybe it's easily traceable. Like all that is true, by the way. You know, making a prank phone call in the 1970s. I mean, I remember my dad used to make a lot of prank calls, and he has them on cassette tape. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, like father, like son. My dad used to, and he has my, and you could do that in the late 60s and early 70s. You could do that. And my dad was a genius at it. He wasn't like, hey, is your refrigerator running? You better go get, I don't mean those type of dumb calls. I'm talking about like legit calls where he's, you know, it's weird. And it's like he's doing a voice and he keeps them on the phone for like, you know, 40 minutes. And he's like, I remember he called this funeral home asking if it was okay if he buried his mother in his backyard because she passed away. And she's lying out there on the lawn right now. And it's very hot. And I was just wondering if, you know, if it's okay if I could just, you know, dig a hole and shovel. I mean, it's this kind of stuff. Like, it's hilarious, right? And of course, they have to take it seriously. You know what I mean? And my dad's putting on this voice. And I don't mean like a cartoon voice, you know. It was so good. My dad was such a genius with that kind of stuff. And I have prank calls that I did like that when I was in college. So probably about 25 years after his prank phone calls. And I have them on cassette tape as well. And I did the same thing. It's just fun to do that. It's so fun to do that. I mean, I remember I called this apartment building, asking if they have any vacancies and if they allow pets. And then I asked what the extent of the pets are. And, you know, because most people who live in an apartment building who have pets would be like, you know, a bird, a cat, a dog, you know, things like that. And I was like, well, you know, you wouldn't, you know, would you allow like a pig, like a 450-pound hog? Would you know, because I have 4 of them, and it's hilarious. Like I sound dead serious, you know, and you can hear some people kind of cracking up, but they're taking it seriously. I love that kind of stuff, you know, because the goal, and especially in 1990, was it 99 that was, or 98? We had advanced further. Cell phones weren't a huge thing at that time. Yeah, they were there, but not a huge thing. But certainly technology had advanced further that it was still relatively easy to do those types of prank calls. Now it's nearly impossible. It's nearly impossible to do those types of prank calls because the goal is to keep them on the phone. Do you know what I mean? So you can't be too crazy. You can't be too ridiculous, or the individual's going to know it's a prank call. You kind of have to be somewhere in the middle where it sounds absurd, but you sound so credible. Do you know what I mean? That's the trick. And my dad was brilliant at that. Brilliant at that. That's probably how he made his way up to the hotel room of the Beatles. Let's be honest. And that was at a time when you could do that in the 60s. You can't do that now with all security cameras and security and stuff. Jesus. A different age, folks, a different age. But so, yeah. So I think prank calls are harder to make now. People have less patience. People are more skeptical. I think they were easier to make and convince people way back in the day. You know what I mean? So it's that balance. It's that balance. But that's funny though. That is funny. All right, a few more minutes here, and then I have to skedaddle. What's the? I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. I don't think I am, but let's see. What do we got? Frank Riker says, Dave should not have used the old rotary phone. I say 2 cups and a string. Well, we were thinking about using 2 cups and a string, Frank. We were thinking about using 2 cups and a string and the wood-burning phone, actually. The old school wood-burning phone is what we were thinking of doing, and the girls have to light a match every time they want to make a phone call or something like that. We were thinking of doing that, but in the end, we just didn't do that. Rick Baker says, when you had this film scored, did you set out to have themes created for certain characters? No, we did not. The film has a score. The film doesn't have a score per se. It does have music in it, but it's more soundscape, sound design. And of course, I handled all of that. If I wasn't doing the show and I wasn't doing voiceover work, I was sound designing the film. That's how busy I've been. And so I wouldn't say that there is there are a couple of pieces of music in it. But for the most part, it's sound design and soundscape, which is what the original was, essentially. I mean, there isn't really a score in the original film either. It's the piano scrapes and the piano strings and things like that. And we emulated that, but we modernized it, brought it up and made it our own, but again, we're paying homage to it. But no, we didn't do a Star Wars thing where it's like, now this is Sam's theme. This is Emma's theme. This is Billy's theme. I mean, maybe maybe there was something unconsciously we did, but certainly not consciously in that way. That would be funny though. Let me see here. What else we got? When we get somebody that I haven't got yet. Yeah, Jim Joe says, it's funny how a lot of these actors that play killers are sweethearts, while several of the wholesome dads on movie and TVs are scumbags. It's totally true. That's a good observation, my man. Yeah, that's totally true. It's like, I know. It's totally true. Let me see here. Swifty? Yes, it's Swifty the Gamer says, if you can't profit off of an IP you don't own, how are you able to sell Blu-rays? I don't understand the legality of that. Well, the Blu-rays, I'm not selling Blu-rays, right? I'm not pocketing the money that comes from the Blu-ray, so I'm not profiting from it. The Blu-rays were a perk, right? So all the money raised goes towards the production. Right? There's no long-term, like we're not selling it. We're not commercializing it. It's not a Blu-ray that is going to wind up on a shelf in a store that you buy and then a percentage of that goes into my pocket. So there's literally no money. And I mean that. I mean that in the purest sense of the word, literally $0, big fat zero from the 63 or whatever it was thousand that we raised has gone into my pocket. None. Zilch. Zero. It's all gone towards the production of the movie, to rent the gear, to rent the camera, all that kind of stuff. The crew, the cast, the catering, the food. So there's money being made in the initial sense to make the movie to certain people, but it's not long-term profit. It's not something that is made and then it goes into the theater and now it's making money and we're reaping the benefits of that long-term profit. So the Blu-rays are something that is the perks. If we were to then launch another Indiegogo campaign to raise more money to sell Blu-rays, it would be to raise more money because, oh shit, we need more money for perks. You know what I mean? We've set aside, money for perks, but now we need to raise more, and then that money comes in and goes back into the distribution of the creation of the extra Blu-rays. So that's sort of how it's something that a lot of the studios don't mind. At least that's how it's been so far. Now, at any given time, a studio can say, nope, you're gone. Studios usually don't mind if it's something that's pigeonholed and kept to that, right? That the money being raised to make this movie goes back into the movie itself, and that it's the long-term profit that cannot be made. So I can't charge you to watch the movie. I can't have a website where I charge you $2 to watch it. I can't have you rent it on YouTube. I can't have it on Amazon and you rent $5 to watch it. I can't do that. Because where does that money go? Well, some of it goes to Amazon, some of it's going to come to me, and I can't do that. So it's things like that cannot be done with the movie. That's why Never Hike Alone, Never Hike in the Snow is free to watch on YouTube. You know what I mean? And you can't rent it anywhere or anything like that. So that's the ballpark kind of version of that. All the money raised from the perks, which was the Blu-rays were part of the perks, goes into making the movie, and making the movie is part of the perks, right? Like the money that we're going to spend on getting the Blu-rays made, getting the t-shirts made, shipping all of that, posters, all that stuff, that's all part of the budget. That's part of that $60,000. You know what I mean? So hopefully that answers that for you. Frank Riker sends in $5 and says, when can we expect the Scooby-Doo? It's Me, Billy crossover. Can't wait for the real movie. Ruh-roh. Yes, the Scooby-Doo crossover of It's Me, Billy is the next installment. I'm here to tell you that is actually the sequel. That is what we're going for. So yes, I have to admit that is what we're going to do, and it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Sam's gonna be like, hello, Sam. Scooby, is this you? And then that'll be the teaser trailer. And it's like, oh my God. And it's going to be called It's Me, Scooby. It's Me, Scooby. And, we're going to dress up a guy, 6-foot guy in a big Scooby-Doo costume. We're going practical. It's not going to be CGI Scooby. He's just going to be it's going to be a big 6-foot Scooby-Doo cosplayer who's going to be running around, bipedal. Is going to be on, two legs. Not crawling, and it's going to be up to Scooby and I don't know, to save the day. Maybe that's what it'll be. Maybe that's what it'll be. All right, folks, listen, that's going to do it for me for episode 169 of MCRAE Live. Thank you so much to my moderators, Frank Riker, Tabitha Short, Darren Sands, and Chris Baber. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you to the Super Chat questions that came in, the non-Super Chat questions that came in. And don't forget, 3 weeks today, folks. Spread the word. Talk about it with your friends and family, and especially for the Black Christmas fan in your family. 3 weeks today. It's Me, Billy drops on Friday, May the 28th on YouTube, free for everybody to watch around the world. That will do it for me. I will be back, hopefully Monday night on the next episode of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. Have a great rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend. Stay safe out there. And if your phone rings, be careful. Alrighty. In the meantime, in between time, cheers.